Good morning from North America. This morning it's about 10:20 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and in about 20 minutes there's going to be a live contact between John F. Kennedy High School in Denver, Colorado and the International Space Station with NASA astronaut Mike Hobkins. And sometimes after those contacts the astronauts stay on for a little while longer and you might be able to make a contact. So I'm going to give it a try and see what happens. Stay tuned. Right now you're listening to John Clute, one of the mentors for the ARISS program, and the school is just about to have the contact begin, so we'll just stand by and see what happens.
Actually tell you they're going to send you into space. It's kind of amazing because you're like, wow, they really intend to send me up there, and so it's just it's an unbelievable feeling that's hard to believe. Over. The spacesuits, when we wear them, like with the SpaceX spacesuit, it's pretty comfortable when you're just walking around in it and you're sitting in the seat. When it becomes less comfortable is when it actually has to do its job, and that's to keep you alive if we should have a defrost event. And then it kind of blows up and it gets very stiff, and it's not easy to move around in. But that is my favorite feature of that spacesuit, is that if anything goes wrong during the launch or the landing, that's going to help keep us alive. Over. Hey, Johnny, and no, we do not. In fact, most of our water comes from us. It comes from our urine, and we recycle that water. And so I think we're in the 80-90% somewhere around there that we're able to recycle. And so we don't have to ration, and we drink and use it for our food as much, and hygiene as much as we need to. Over. Unfortunately not, but that's a great question, because we actually get trained as medical officers, even if you don't have that formal training as part of your background. I'm actually not one of those medical officers on board, but the three crewmates I came up with, Victor, Shannon, and Suichi, all are trained as medical officers. Over. One of the things we always do when we have a little bit of free time is it's just to get in touch with your family. And so that's one of the things I like to do. And then the other great thing is, I'm staying in SpaceX Crew Dragon Resilience, and it has windows. And so when I'm in my crew quarters and I'm talking to my family, I actually get to not only release stress by talking to them, but then I'm also looking down at the world as it goes by. And that's a great feeling as well. Over. Jared, sleeping is a little bit different up here. If if you've had a long day and you remember and you're really tired and you lay down, it feels really good to just kind of get the load off your feet. Well, up here we never have a load on our feet, so you never get that kind of same sensation. So it does always feel like you're floating a little bit, even though you kind of strap yourself down in your sleeping bag. But is it comfortable? Yeah, it's pretty comfortable. Not too bad at all. Over. Yes, that's the most important thing we do when we go out on a spacewalk. And so we always have to be attached by 2 points. And so when we first go out the door, we put down what we call a safety tether. And that goes with it's a big reel that as we're moving around station, it reels out this long cable. And then the other point of contact is always our hands, or once we get to a work site, we can put down another safety tether or waist tether to make sure we have those 2 points of contact always with station. Over. That's a great question. Launch was absolutely unbelievable, and yes, our training did a great job of getting us ready for that. But we can't simulate what it's actually like, the G-loads and just the vibrations and all that. It's really hard to simulate that, so you just do sim practice again and again, and so the procedures you're pretty familiar with, but then the actual feeling is something that you can only experience on the launch itself. Over. those on ISS. We do have a treadmill, and we have a weightlifting device that uses the vacuum, basically a cylinder that we take the vacuum and we can pull against that vacuum, and it works really well. We can do all the normal lifts like squats and deadlifts and bench press, etc. Over. That's a funny question. So, one of the things about microgravity and space is the simple things become hard, and that is definitely one of them. It can always be a little bit messier up here in the microgravity environment. Do you get used to it? Yes. But I think that is one of the things that I'm not going to miss whenever I have to come back to Earth, and that's having to use the toilet facility up here. Over. Simple things become hard, and that is definitely one of them. It can always be a little bit messier up here in the microgravity environment. You get used to it, yes. But I think that is one of the things that I'm not going to miss whenever I have to come back to Earth, and that's having to use the toilet facility up here. Over. Anything that's edible would be my
This is Clarissa again. If there was one plant you could grow in the International Space Station, what would it be and why? Over.
Clarissa, what a wonderful question. We actually have a lot of plants growing on station right now. We've got peas, we've got basil, we've got pak choy, we've got mustard. And so, if I had my choice, anything that's edible would be my first choice, but then I'd also love to be able to grow a flower while I was up here and take it home to my wife afterwards. Over. There's nothing that's stuck in between the fields.
This is Nicole again. Have you ever had a malfunction with your spacesuit? What did you do? Over.
Very fortunate I've never had a malfunction with our spacesuits, but today we are actually doing a leak check on our spacesuits for the two that are going to go on spacewalks this weekend, and we didn't pass one of the leak checks, so we did have to just troubleshoot, and one of the things that means is you just take piece by piece off and just verify that there's nothing that's stuck in between the seals or there's nothing that's broken. Over.
Hi, this is Emily again. How has COVID-19 changed your space travel? Over.
Hey, probably the biggest impact COVID-19 had on our space travel was the before and the after. So before launch, we really had to make some adjustments in how we train, and
Okay, we've lost the space station over the horizon.
it sounds like I've lost communication, but if you guys are still hearing me, absolutely great questions. Had a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us on board the International Space Station. And this is November Alpha 1 Sierra Sierra. Over and out.
JFK would like to thank the ISS on the count of 3 commanders. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for a most wonderful contact. We've all been part of a distance learning activities featuring students from JFK High School speaking with Mike Hobkins on the International Space Station. On behalf of all the ARISS International volunteer teams, sponsors, and space agencies, this is John, amateur radio operator K7SYS, sending my greetings to all of you in traditional amateur terms, 73s, which means best wishes. At this point, we may conclude the line.
Well, we didn't actually make voice contact because we have to be courteous of the school contact and wait till it's clear. And the space station was out of range, but we did hear the space station really well. Great school contact. The ARISS team does a spectacular job on putting these events together. So just keep trying. One day you'll make a contact with one of the astronauts. Just be strong and persevere.